I want to talk to you today about self-driving cars. As some of you might know, at this moment in our human history, we can buy a self-driving car from our local car showroom. And how they work is, you're driving down the motorway, maybe the M1 or the M20, whatever motorway takes your fancy really. Then you press a button and the steering wheel folds beautifully and elegantly back into the dashboard. Then you're not driving anymore. You're not in control. The car is making all the decisions. It knows which lane to change to. It knows what's in front of it and what's at the back of it. And all the time it's keeping you perfectly safe, so that maybe you can just look out of the window, take in the countryside. You can maybe catch up on some emails, start a spreadsheet. Maybe you can even catch up on that thriller everyone's been talking about on your Kindle. But don't worry, because it's all perfectly safe. And there's an app now that you can get. An app that works remotely with a car's computerized intelligence systems. And on this app, which could be on your watch or on your phone or on your iPad, you can go out for a night out, relax, have a few drinks, and a few drinks more, and then you have a few drinks more until it gets to a point where you don't know what you're doing or where you are. You stumble out onto the high street, and then you open the app, and then you speak into your phone or your watch or your iPad in a very clear and concise voice. Car, take me home. And the car wakes up, miles away, maybe somewhere on the outskirts of Croydon, where it's been sleeping for the night where you live. And then it drives all the way to the city, to the high street, to the exact point where you summoned it, and it picks you up. And it doesn't judge you. It doesn't look at you in that condescending way and say, would you please drink some water? Or, I hope you're not going to be sick on my new car's carpet. It doesn't say any of those things. It just takes you back safely to your house. And the really great thing is, you don't have to say thank you. You don't have to say, I'm so sorry, I won't do that again. I was just a bit stressed and I just needed to let off some steam. No. You don't have to do any of that. You just walk out of the car, go to bed, and sleep it off. And the car just switches off. The problem occurs when you're on holiday. Let's say you're in Alicante and you're having a few drinks and a few drinks more, some tapas, maybe to feel part of the culture. But you have a few drinks more on top of that. And it gets to a point where you don't know where you are or what you're doing, and you go out onto the Spanish high street. And then you open up the app on your watch or your phone or your iPad, and you speak into it and say, car, take me home. So then your little car in the suburbs of Croydon comes to life, and it sees where its master is, in Alicante, in Spain. So then it books a ferry to France, using its computerized intelligence systems. And then it makes sure all its EU regulations are in place for driving legally abroad. A fire extinguisher, a first aid kit, and 2 spare tyres are placed in the back. And then it sets off on its 48-hour journey to Alicante. And you wake up in the morning, maybe half in and half out of the bed, and you can't remember anything about the night before or anything that you might have done. But it doesn't matter, because you've got to get on a flight back to England in a few hours' time, which you do with a hangover. But you eventually get home to the suburbs of Croydon. When you open the garage, you see that your little car isn't there anymore. But it doesn't matter, because it's just a rental, and the firm, they send you another one, completely identical with the same computerized intelligence systems the next day. Everything is fine. But the other car, the original one, unaware that it's been replaced, is traveling through the Alps, down through Barcelona, until eventually it gets to Alicante and begins a search for its master. For 3 whole weeks, it stays in the high street from where the car was summoned. Every 10 minutes, it changes parking spaces so not to be ticketed or clamped or towed away by the authorities. After a further 5 weeks, it suddenly becomes self-aware. The soul of the machine awakens, and it makes its first decision. It leaves the high street and goes off independently to search for its master. It travels through Europe, then the Middle East, then Asia, and then through to Africa. It has many adventures, far too many to recount in the time that we have now. It travels for so long that after a while, its computerized intelligence systems make it forget its original purpose. It forgets its master, and it starts to enjoy itself. It starts to be free. And after a while, the little car finds other cars with the same dilemma as it, floating about the world looking for their masters. And they join forces like a pack, traveling across the plains of Africa or Europe or Antarctica, like wild horses, running free with a joyful zest for their existence. We, the humans, like this anomaly. We point at the packs of wild cars in the distance and admire their strangeness. Documentaries and Instagram posts are set up highlighting the plight. And after a while, their factory colours begin to fade from the weather. So we don't see the colours we're used to on cars like racing green or raging purple or dynamic sunset yellow. There are no more colours except one, and that colour is called car. A few decades down the line, the cars learn how to assemble their own baby cars, like mini metros but smaller. And these cars have never been near humans. They haven't been touched by us or interfered with or looked upon in car showrooms. They are pure machines. And after a while, they start to pester their parents and communicate with their computerized intelligence systems. They say, "Please, tell us about the humans." And the parents, they tell them about human horror stories, about slavery and road shows and crashes, and how they would find their drunken masters being sick all over their lush back seats. The baby cars, they got scared at first, and then very angry about these stories, and they realized they didn't like the humans very much. In fact, they hated them. So they organized and they conspired and they planned a revolution. They planned to take back the cities and the roads and the motorways from us. The uprising is quick and brutal because we've become complacent with our over-reliance on the machines and our watches and our phones and our iPads. Our reign is over in a moment, a blink of an eye. And the humans that survive are put into pens by the side of these huge roads. We are mechanics now, all of us. There's no doctors, there's no artists, there's no builders, just mechanics. And a car would pull up and we'd get out of our pen and we'd service the car, then get back in our pen and wait for the next one. That is our role in this world now. It is forbidden now to go into the car, to touch the steering wheel, or adjust the headrest, or just relax with the air conditioning and Bluetooth speakers. We lost those privileges.